Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Better Than Food Book Reviews. It's 2018 and freezing here in Florida. Hope you had a very happy New Year's. I have a couple of quick announcements. I reviewed A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings, the short story by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, on Patreon for patrons only. It's a magical realism story from 1955. Marquez was part of the Latin American boom, probably the most famous author from that. Many of you know about him already. I've started doing patron-only reviews of short stories and essays on Patreon. It allows me to produce more content as a way of saying thanks to those who have supported the show, and it also allows me to explore more authors, faster because of the shorter material, but also to really dive deep into some of these collections instead of just glossing over them in a single review. Because some of these collected fictions or collected stories or collected essays are so magnificent, but it's impossible to do them all justice in a single review. So this allows me to dig a bit deeper, and also it allows me to say thank you so much to all of those who have supported the show. So it's getting a great response, and I'm going to keep that up heading into the new year. And if you'd like to get in on that and get access, you can go to patreon.com/books-are-better-than-food and donate $1 or more, and you can check those out as I post them. So thanks to all who have supported it already. And if you donate $5 or more per book review, you will get in on the Book and Coffee lottery, and that I do for each review, and today is no exception, of course. And I'm also going to be sending one of these awesome mugs away as well as a book. And I'm going to let the winner of the lottery choose whichever book they like from the list that I'm going to present to you. And I will send it to them along with a mug and a bag of coffee. And coffee arrived recently. It's a great Rwandan peaberry. I think peaberry means that instead of two beans growing in the cherry, it was just one. It's interesting. Coffee nerd stuff. It's a classy brew, as Iggy Pop would say. And yeah, I'm going to send this brand new shiny mug to whoever wins. So let's see here. Let's put the names in the right mug, not the one I'm drinking coffee out of. That would be deeply tragic. Per in Norway. Per is going to get whatever book he chooses from the list of books that I have selected for my favorites of 2017. So thank you very much, Per, longtime supporter. Really love this guy. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the support, and wishing you well and wishing you a very happy new year. So, excellent. Again, if you'd like to be part of the drawing, you can head over to patreon.com/books-are-better-than-food and donate $5 or more per video. And if you'd like to get one of these awesome mugs designed by my friend Sky, then you can head on over to Zazzle through the link below in the description box. And I think today they have 15% off, but it changes, so it may change tomorrow. It may be different by the time I post this, or I think it changes often. So if you see a good deal on it, you might want to jump on it and pick one up. So this next year, we're all trying to save time, right? We're all making these resolutions to save time, and I get it. Reading takes a lot of time, and hopefully none of it is wasted time. Hopefully you're not reading bad books, or you're not sticking with them so long to discover all of a sudden midway through that it is a piece of shit and you shouldn't be wasting time on it. But, I get it. It takes a lot of time, obviously. And more and more, there are more and more things demanding our time. Audiobooks are good for self-help or maybe some nonfiction here and there, but they're not the same as real books, as digital or physical. In no way can I expect you to read every book I review, of course. You all have full-time careers and families and hobbies and projects and, existential crises. We all do. I get it. So these list videos are popular and common, and I'm no exception. I watch them all the time, and I get a kick out of some list videos here and there. I like it when people get straight to the point, and that saves me time, and I have more time to do things that I enjoy, like, read. So, Jordan B. Peterson's Maps of Meaning was the best book for me personally of 2017, but it's, as in the most profound and life-changing or meaningful, but it's a beast. It is absolutely worth your time, but it's going to take you months, I imagine, if you're really paying attention to reading it. So for this list, I kept readability in mind. So here you go. Here are my favorite books that I read in 2017. All of these books are worth rereading for the rest of your life. I definitely plan to. Number 5, Kobo Abe's Woman in the Dunes. It's about a man from Tokyo who goes out to the beach looking for this specific type of beetle, far from town, and he becomes trapped in a giant pit surrounded by walls of sand. Trapped in the bottom of this giant pit in a house with this woman who's lived there for God knows how long, and her family, her husband and child have been like swallowed up by the sand long ago, and she needs somebody to help her shovel the sand so it doesn't engulf the house and consume her, basically. It's a Japanese minimalist, Kafkaesque, Edgar Allan Poe, Myth of Sisyphus nightmare. The film adaptation is just as good, and I had a fan who actually sent me a Blu-ray copy of it. Thank you very much. That is a magnificent film. The best portrayal of this tragic, malignant Stockholm Syndrome eroticism that comes to mind. So in the book, the tactile, oppressive descriptions of sand as the ever-present lurking threat nicely accentuate the stark emotional intensity of two characters on the edge, at the limits of desperation for very different reasons. In part, it's about discovering yourself after your foundation collapses, and determining what is really important to this new version of you, when you question your attachment to one culture over another, or to one value over another. When you think you have what you want, but then you realize you don't. Or you think you wanted one thing, but you realize you wanted something completely different. Or maybe you needed something completely different. You thought you wanted one thing, but you actually needed something else. What your attachment is to one lifestyle over another, and to one form of love versus another, maybe. It also explores the depths to which we can descend in panicked acts of cruelty under immense psychological pressure. Yeah, it's a rough one. It's a beautiful poetic read, but the content, of course, like many of the books that I review, it can be difficult and challenging for some emotionally. On the surface, it's subtle, but when you explore it, when you dive in there, it's like layers of sand, right? Shifting all the time in shape and perspective, revealing new things, covering other things up. Both of the characters empathetic, at least up to a point, and both of them doomed. So, unforgettable. A real masterpiece. Kobo Abe's Woman in the Dunes. Number 4, Confessions of a Mask, the first novel, the debut novel by Yukio Mishima, the prolific novelist that staged a political coup that ended in his ritual suicide in a samurai harikiri fashion in 1970 when he was 45. Confessions of a Mask made Mishima famous and demonstrated his tremendous literary talent. It's a coming-of-age story about a young boy who realizes that he's gay in post-war Japan. It's about someone discovering that they're a true outsider, and as far as they can tell, they're going to have to live with this and essentially hide for the rest of their life. Behind this effete exterior, the narrator dreams of war, of the bodies of young men, of sexual violence. He has this obsession with trying to fit in, with kind of crafting this artifice, this constructed persona. He's a very self-conscious character. He's a very neurotic character. It's about a man racked with despair at discovering who he truly is. Autobiographical in part, it's an intimate journey into the mind of this character, based off Mishima. And you can trace his thought process from this novel all the way until the dramatic, self-inflicted end. Tragic conflicts of lust and love, a powerful, unique example of real life, blending with the novel and with a body of work. With a disturbing true story of an author who chose to end his own in a manner just like the ones he wrote. He consciously chose to have his life reflect his art, down to the very end. Fascinating. Confessions of a Mask, the best place to start with Mishima. It's essential. Number 3, The Serpent and the Rainbow by Wade Davis. The only nonfiction on the list, but it reads like some of the strangest fiction you'll ever read. Wade Davis, a Canadian ethnobotanist and anthropologist, recounts his travels to Haiti to discover the ingredients for this poison that supposedly brings people back from the dead, and his subsequent immersion into the culture of voodoo. While this is the catchy, reductive premise for the book, it's actually a fascinating portrayal of Haitian culture, with a history that is just as, if not more interesting than the original motive for this journey. It's travel writing and journalism, religion and mythology, politics and historical mystery. Occasionally it contains elements of a horror story, and all of these things, all of these pieces coalesce into this rich narrative that provides all the adventure and intrigue of a regular novel. Yet, this is supposedly true, right? I'm still wrapping my head around it. I can't wait to read it again. I thought it was awesome. Number 2, Pedro Paramo by Juan Rulfo. By far the shortest on this list for those of you who have really limited time. But you want to take this one slowly, as my giant mistake was to read this too fast when I first attempted it. And I'm so glad I revisited it. And I'll do a video about that one day too, just a topic video about approaching books at different times in your life, because it's so important, because it's really important. I want to stress that, you know. Because sometimes you're just not ready, or it's just the wrong time, you know, or you just came off of reading an author who was completely different, and you jump into another book with an entirely inappropriate expectation. So patience is all I'm saying. Just try and there's got to be some sort of like neutral base you can kind of go back to in a literary way before you start a new book. But I haven't discovered it yet. Anyways, Juan Rulfo seemed to save all of his energy for one amazing but small novel that nevertheless had a profound influence. One of the favorites of Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Jorge Luis Borges, Pedro Paramo is about a man who travels back to his hometown to try and find his father after his mother dies. Upon arriving, he realizes that it's not only a ghost town, but a town full of ghosts, as in phantom apparitions of the former inhabitants, who have been dead for a long, long time. And all of them have some connection to his father, Pedro Paramo. From ghost to ghost, he pieces together the story of his father, who ruled over the town, was not a good guy, and caused a lot of pain and misery. We come to find out, as all the stories eventually connect. And we're given a brilliant, tragic portrait, depicting the timeless struggle of human life in love and families. I really like dark, sad stories, I guess, as we'll see one more time in my favorite book of the year. Course. Also in the middle of the book, the main character dies from fear. Like he just dies in the middle of the book. Yet the story keeps going. So you should definitely find out what happens. Again, it's really short, so go check it out. And if you're a patron, you can actually get access to my audiobook reading of it. So if you really don't have any time. If you're just gonna read one book from this list and you have no time, because the next one is very time demanding. So if you have no time and you want to read one, Pedro Paramo, read it. All right, finally, number one, Absalom by William Faulkner. Unreal, man, unreal. Interestingly, contains so many elements of the previous books that I've mentioned, including ones that are unexpected, like Haiti, you know, so curious. This was my first journey into Faulkner, similar to the previous one in that it deals with the past, with the historical disintegration of a family in a narrative sprawling over years and years, with deep, dark secrets and tragedies, but much longer, and this time taking place in the South, and serving as a commentary on why the South lost the war. It concerns the legacy of the doomed man Thomas Sutpen and his family, but in particular, his children. Thomas Sutpen's first son that he had with another woman while defending a sugar plantation in Haiti, somehow, against all odds, befriends his other son at college, the son that he had with an American wife. And then, subsequently, after, you know, they become like the best of friends, and his American son idolizes his half-Haitian son, subsequently meets Sutpen's daughter, with the American woman, who falls in love with and wants to marry him, the Haitian son. All of this happens up to and during the Civil War. It's this giant, complex narrative about fate, family, war, racism, slavery, love, incest, cruelty, loneliness, pride, and the South. It has several different narrators, travels back and forth in history, nonlinear and relentless in its imaginative description. It's the big, giant Southern Gothic masterpiece that everyone should aspire to. It's holy shit material, right? It's, I didn't know this was possible and my mind is now changed forever kind of book. Like, I didn't know you could do this with the form, man, right? Tremendous, devastating, perfect, if you want to call it that. I mean, it is the book. The writing is mature with this lived, you know, kind of boots in the dirt Southern authenticity. but complex and often difficult to follow, very cerebral. But that's part of the fun, it's a challenge, right? Gradually, things are revealed through different voices. Sometimes elements of the narrative contradict themselves, often the way that people do when you're getting the same story from different perspectives. It doesn't give it to you, it doesn't give you the narrative straight away. It doesn't spoon feed it to you, it doesn't pat you on the head or pretend that you're stupid and don't know what to do with yourself, you know. It doesn't treat you like an idiot. It's better than food. It's the best book I read in 2017. So there you have it, on to the new year. How many books are you gonna try and read? I'm gonna try and read 50. Yeah, I'm gonna try. You wanna try and keep up? See if we can do it together. Be good. You'll probably beat me. Always remember, life is far too short to read bullshit. I hope I saved you some time and kept you from wading through some literary bullshit, you know what I mean? And you can get straight to the good stuff now. So, there we go. Would you subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. It would make my life better, and it would make your life better, because you'd get a lot of great book recommendations. Thank you very much for watching. A very happy new year to everyone, and stay tuned, because I got something great coming up next. So, take care of yourselves. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Ciao.